Yeah. John, what's up?
Stigmatism, man, what's up?
Yo.
Do
Yo.
anything.
Do anything.
Man, what's up?
Do anything. Hit that like button. As soon as you come in here, hit the like button.
In my soul.
Okay. You got it, man?
Do anything.
Anything?
Anything.
Put your mind to it.
Put your mind to it. Do anything.
Hey, yo, as soon as you come in here, man, hit that like button, man. I see some of y'all sneaking in and sneaking out. As soon as you come in, hit the like button. We got the juice. I'm drinking my juice today. I just made this one. We're gonna do the juice fast. I think it's next Friday we start, right? Let me see. Yes, a week from today. A week from today. Let me put my Patreon channel up there. Copy. All right, let me put my Patreon up there. Amsterdam in the building, D Cunts Cafe. What's up, homeboy? Amsterdam in the building, man. We here, we live. Nigga got that motherfucking fed look.
I said astigmatism in my soul.
Listen, we here. We live. This is the podcast with Soul. It's September the 24th, 2021. It's 12:02 in the PM here in the state of New Jersey. Let's check the futures, the markets. The Dow futures are down 15 points. The S&P 500 is down 1.5. The NASDAQ 100s are down 55. And the Russell small cap futures are up 3. So I know some of y'all, I want to give a shout out to my man Tony down in Tennessee. Reached out today and bought two hats, 2 of my Scullies, man. Shout out to you, Tony. We here, man. We live. And we getting busy, man. Welcome to the podcast with Soul. Please do me a favor when you come in, man. Please hit the like button. Take the link and share the link with somebody that you're close to and tell them to check me out, man. You know, if they don't like it, then they don't like it. If they like it, tell them to subscribe. You can follow me on my Instagram. My Instagram is at the top of the screen, Gunby Publishing. Or you could type in Sean G in Instagram and it'll come up. I have a Patreon channel called the Patreon Channel with Soul. You could check me out over there. It's $5 a month. But if you want to get into some mentorship, one-on-one FaceTimes with me, subscribe to the Patreon channel. The link is right there at the top. I'm going to put another link right here so y'all can check that out. Cesar Enrique de la Torre Lopez. Buenos dias. ¿Cómo está? What's up, Cesar, over in Spain? Sean Cove, what up? Listen, I want to talk about Biggie and Tupac today, man. You know, I know y'all hear me a lot of times. And this is a buffoonery-free zone. We don't do the buffoonery thing here. The reason I'm going to address it is because when you put Biggie and Tupac in your description on your YouTube, you get a lot of traffic, a lot of views. That's one reason. Another reason is, as most of you know, I'm 52 years old. I lived through the whole thing. I saw from my vantage point what happened, and I'm going to give my perspective. This is just going to be my opinion. It's going to be my perspective. This is going to come completely from me. I represent everything I'm going to say. And what I say right now, I could say it again, verbatim, the way I'm going to say it the first time. I don't apologize for nothing I'm going to say. I'm going to say what I mean, and I'm going to mean what I say. And another thing why I want to talk about it is, you know, I got down with both of them. We're going to get into that. Don't forget, October the 1st, next Friday, at this time, we're going to go live next Friday this time. We all going on the juice. Tamika Johnson. Tamika Johnson, what's up? Yeah, tell your son to check me out, man. Stizzy, Slim Diesel, Happy Life. And I'm going to address this topic with Biggie and Tupac one time. This is going to be my first and last time addressing this. And, you know, y'all will hear me a lot on here saying that you see a lot of platforms, they're constantly talking about this issue, and it's primarily for one reason, for the algorithm to catch the two names and, you know, put your video in the feed. But I'm not going to get into that. You know, you see channels addressing it over and over and over and over and never letting it die. And I was thinking today, I said, well, Sean, man, you know, they still talk about the Kennedy assassination. They still talk about you know, big events in the past. So, you know, deal with it, you know, and I'm going to deal with it because, like I say, I was there. Number one, I've been following hip hop since 1976, since 1977. I grew up in North Jersey in the city of Clifton, and my cousin lived in Passaic. He had a crew. And this hip hop thing I was 8, 9 years old when Sugar Hill Gang came out and Curtis Blow came out with The Breaks and Sugar Hill came out with Rapper's Delight. I was 10. That was around 1979, 1980. I was 10, 11 years old, so I remember it vividly. But I remember even before that when it was just dudes making mixtapes with using the sample from Cerrone, Rocket in the Pocket. And, you know, my cousin had the 2 turntables. He had the mixer, the speakers, and I used to just be down in his basement and they would be down there rhyming on the mic, and I used to just be watching them, man. And, you know, I would borrow his tape. I would take it home. I had a box. My mother bought me a box. And I would just play these tapes. This was in the late 70s. And, you know, I've been around hip hop from the beginning. In my opinion, this is my opinion, I think hip hop, true hip hop was coming to an end at around 1989, 1990. If you were around that time, you know that hip hop's golden era was around 1986 to around 1989. This was they call it hip hop's golden era. And I saw that. I was a part of that. Florida in the building, top tracks. You know, hip hop there was no satellite radio, commercial free 24-hour radio with just a pure hip hop channel. There was no hip hop was not played on the radio. It was only played on the radio on Friday. At first it was just Friday nights with Mr. Magic. from 9 to 11. The Master Mix, Mr. Magic, John Rivas. Mr. Magic, he was a radio DJ here in New York, and he spearheaded rap getting on the radio. It was 2 hours a week, Friday night from 9 to 11. You heard hip hop for 2 hours on WBLS, and that was it. And then it was some dudes that rocked on WHBI around 1, 2 in the morning. I think that was the Awesome 2. And that was all the hip hop you got. You know, there was no video. I don't even think MTV was out at this time, or it might have had just came out, but MTV was not playing any hip hop music on their show. There was no black artists on MTV. MTV was purely a rock and roll video channel. They played no hip hop, no R&B, no black artists at all until Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, was the first black artist to get played on MTV. Michael Jackson put out Thriller in 1982. And this is, as of today, the #1 selling album in the history of music. Sold over 104 million copies. It stayed on the Billboard charts for 18 months, a year and a half. Thriller. And they wouldn't play Michael Jackson on MTV. And the head of CBS Records, which is, I think, CBS Epic, or one of them, was who Michael Jackson was signed to, called down to MTV. He said, listen, we spent all this money on this Billie Jean video. We spent all this money on this Beat It video. We spent all this money on this Thriller video. Play Michael Jackson's video on MTV. MTV was the only house on the block. There were no other video channels. There were no other video channels. I don't know if Video Music Box was on at the time with VJ Ralph McDaniel. Shout out to Ralph. And MTV told the CEO of Epic Records that we don't play black artists on MTV. We don't play no R&B. This is purely a rock station. The CEO told MTV, he said, if you don't play Michael Jackson's video, it was either Billie Jean or Beat It, in the next couple of hours, I'm pulling all of my other rock artists' videos off of MTV, which I think the Eagles was signed to them, and a couple of other big acts were on the same label as Michael Jackson. He said, if you don't play Michael Jackson, I'm taking all my other white rock artists off MTV. MTV caved in. They played Michael Jackson Beat It, and it was over. Michael Jackson's videos became so popular, they used to joke and say that MTV really stood for Michael TV because they played his videos every half hour on the half hour. And that was it. And Thriller went through the roof, and it was crazy. It was over. So the 80s goes through. And in the late 80s, there was a group called the Digital Underground out from the West Coast, from the Bay Area, with Money B and Shock G. Shock G was Humpty, and they had a huge record called Humpty Hump. And they put out an album called Sex Packets. I bought the album. I was in college at this time. I probably was 20, 21 years old, somewhere around in there. 19, 20, 21, somewhere in there. And this Humpty Hump was huge, man. This record was huge. And Tupac was one of the backup dancers on Digital Underground. And they put out another EP after they put out Sex Packets, and it was a song on there called Same Song. Been around the world, same song. And Tupac had a feature on there. And that was the launching of his popularity or being known, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm giving you what I saw. And around 1992, Tupac put out his first album. I bought it. I bought the cassette. It was called Tupacalypse Now. You had Brenda's Got a Baby. When My Homies Call, Violent. What's some other songs in there? I bought the album. The album was money. I bought it. When My Homies Call, Brenda's Got a Baby, Violent. A couple other tracks on there. And I bought the album and I became a Tupac fan like in 1992 when that album came out. Tupacalypse Now. Then Tupac put out another album right after that one. I think that was Strictly for My Niggas. I bought that one. I bought all of his albums. I got all of Tupac's albums up until after he got killed. Then I stopped buying them because I think the last one I bought was Machiavelli. I bought Machiavelli, and then there was another one right after that called Heaven. What the hell was the name of that one, man? It was another one after that. I bought that one, and then I stopped buying them because at that point they just became real watered down, and he wasn't involved. They were just remixing, and all of that. But I was a Tupac fan from the door. And one of my favorite albums that he made was Me Against the World with Dear Mama, I See Death Around the Corner. Bunch of tracks on that, so I can't think of them off the top of the dome, but that was one of his albums, one of my favorite Tupac albums. And of course, the double album he put out after he went to prison, when he got with Dr. Dre on Death Row with California Love. It was a double album. Ambitions of a Rider. How Do You Want It? How Do You Feel? All that. Classic album, man. I'm here, War Stories. Outlaws on the Rise. Jealous Niggas I Despise. Look in My Eyes. Classic album, man. Dope album. And I got my juice here. I got green juice in here. I got a raw egg in here. I got some peanut butter in here. Beet juice. Red juice. What else I got in here? Carrot juice. I got a bunch of different juices in here. And so I was a Tupac fan from the door. He was a dope MC as far as lyrically. His delivery to me was money. And what really drew me to him was he spoke from his heart. And what comes from the heart reaches the heart. And his passion. And I'm in my early 20s around this time. I'm a young nigga, man. And I really respected him as an MC, man, as an artist, I fucked with him. And then he got shot in New York. I forget the year. He got shot. I remember that. That came on the news. They shot him up. And, I remember seeing him being pushed in the wheelchair by the FOI, brothers out of the Fruit of Islam, from the Nation of Islam. And, and then just him, that really affected him. It changed him. I remember him getting caught up in the rape thing, and then around this time, he goes to prison. I think he gets shot. He recovers. Then he gets charged with the rape, and he gets convicted of rape, and he gets sent to prison in New York. And then, he just becomes more and more interesting as all of these things are happening to him, right? Share this link. Hit that like button, man. It's 22 of y'all in here. I got 15 likes. Come on, man. It don't go like that, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Hit the like button. Or give it a thumbs down. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. I don't give a fuck which one you do. Just do something. Come in here and do something. And, he just becomes more and more magnetic to me because he's going through these different sets of adversities, these different trials, these encounters, these obstacles, and he just continues to prevail, right? He continues to how my foot get caught in here, man? He continues to just keep moving. And when he gets shot, and when does Biggie come out? When do I first hear Biggie, man? I gotta hear Biggie probably in the early 90s too. Juicy, that song Juicy, the sample taken from M2 Born Sinner, the opposite of winner. Remember when I used to eat sardines for dinner? Peace to Brucey B, Kid Capri. Peace to Ron G, Brucey B, Kid Capri. Funk Master Flex, Love Bug, Star Ski. I'm blowing up like you thought I would. Call the crib, same number, same hood. It's all good. And I didn't really know. I wasn't really up on them two being, because Tupac was big first. Tupac he had been in movies. He had been in Poetic Justice. Was he in a movie before that? Above the Rim. I don't know if that was above, but Tupac was already an established artist before Big, if my recollection serves me right. And shout out to my man who hit me with a thumbs down. Appreciate you, man. Get your weak ass out of here. Tupac was already established before Big. And I didn't really know that they knew each other and hung out and all that. What I later learned, listening to the lyrics and all of the stuff that has come out. But then after Tupac gets shot, y'all still there? Is the live good? The live is good, y'all. We ain't froze up. But now we should still be good. When he gets shot, goes to prison, he begins to talk about the night he survives getting shot. I think he got shot 5 times, survives, gets charged with rape, goes to jail, is doing these interviews from jail. Huge celebrities are going to visit him in jail. Madonna, Tony Danza, all these big people are going to visit him in prison. He's an established star at this point. And then he begins to talk about the night that he got shot, and he starts naming names as to who perpetrated the aggression against him. And he starts going at Puffy and Biggie. And around this time, Snoop Dogg is out. The Chronic comes out in 92. It's a huge record. And Snoop Dogg is featured on this Chronic. And then Snoop puts out his first album called Doggy Style. It's probably either 1993, I want to say. 92, 93. And then this label that Dre is on, Death Row, is a monster, because the Chronic album is probably, arguably, can be one of the greatest albums, not just hip-hop history, just not the hip-hop genre, but the greatest albums ever, man. This album was a masterpiece from front to back. I was in my senior year at Morris Brown in Atlanta when that album came out. Bought it. Just a masterpiece. I had already been a Dr. Dre fan because of NWA. That was when I first got introduced to Dr. Dre through NWA with Eazy-E and all of them, Ice Cube, MC Ren, DJ Yella and all them, the DOC. That was in the late 80s. They came out. So when they all broke up and left Eazy with Ruthless, and Dre went over to Death Row, he put out The Chronic and Doggy Style, and this was a game changer, these 2 albums. And while Tupac is sitting in jail, Juice. Right, that's it, Handsome the guy, Juice. Right. Yeah, Juice comes out, I think, was that in the late 80s? 89? Anyway, so Tupac is sitting in jail, and all of a sudden one day, news comes out that he gets bailed out on $1 million bail, $1 million bond, gets bailed out by the head of Death Row Records. And it's like, okay. And when he comes out of jail, a short time after that, he drops All Eyes on Me, the double album, and, hit him up. And he just starts going at Biggie and Puffy like crazy. And, let me say this. Now, up until this point, before he gets bailed out of jail, Tupac starts off with the Digital Underground, which was a West Coast, a Northern California Bay Area group. At this point, hip-hop nobody even discussed coast. Hip-hop wasn't discussed in coast at this point. Humpty Hump and Digital Underground and Shock G, they were large. They were superstars from that music, from that song Humpty Hump, Humpty's Dance. And, his first couple of albums, he doesn't take a position of, because there is no coasting at this point. So he doesn't take a position. Yo, I'm from this coast, you from that coast, there's nothing, there's none of that. And on that album, Me Against the World, I think it's on that album, there's a song that he puts out that's on that album that's Ain't Nothing Like the Old School, where he pays tribute to all of the old school rappers who influenced him, who he was a fan of. And on this song, it's all New York rappers. It's all New York rappers on this song. Ain't Nothing Like the Old School. Go listen to it. Not one mention of any other rapper from anywhere else in the world. Everyone he mentions on that song is a New York rapper. And, you know, he's in the movie Juice. Juice is based in Harlem. Above the Rim is based in New York. You know, so like I said, it really at that time there was no coast thing, right? But when he gets out of prison, when he gets bailed out by 1992 Juice, when he gets bailed out by Suge and Death Row, he's hot, he's pissed off, and he starts going in on Biggie and Puffy, and he starts talking about West Side, you know, West Coast and all this and that. And then he does California Love and all this and that. And, you know, to me, because by this time he's done interviews and he's like blaming Biggie, Puffy, and I think Andre Harrell. I think he's blaming them for him getting shot, right? He's saying that they set him up or they knew something about it and didn't tell him, something to that effect. I'm getting the news secondhand, you know, just like you. And he starts going at them, right? Which I understood if that was factual. You know, if they set him up and, you know, I'm just speaking hypothetically. I'm not saying they did. If they did, if niggas said you, then I can understand, yo, I'm gonna get at these niggas. You understand? I'm step to these niggas, you know? So that's, you know, I understood that part and I didn't have a problem with that part. And then you know, he starts talking this West Side and California Love. I was a big fan of that song. That was a song, I had never heard a song like that before. The video was money. You know, Chris Tucker and all of them was in the video, and Roger Troutman was on the joint. And, you know, I didn't have a problem. And then, you know, he started saying things like, you know, this is the West Side, you know, because, you know, it's the best side, you know. And then, you know, that's when, and I'm talking about me, you know, he started to, like, I started to feel like fronted on. You know, I started to feel like he was fronting on me, you understand? You know, how could you know, why is you saying this? You understand what I'm saying? Why are you getting down like this? You understand? Because you not talking about them no more. When you talking about, you know, now it then got into East Coast. Now you coming at me. You understand? And I fuck with you. I'm a fan. You know what I mean? I don't understand what you're saying here. You understand? And that's when, you know, it started to rub me the wrong. He started to rub me the wrong way, but I was still a fan. It was you couldn't help but be a fan. I couldn't help but be a fan because his music was money. His shit was butter, man. The music was dope. he was a dope MC still. And, you know, and then I was like, but nigga, you just did a whole song on you did a whole song on an album a couple years back where ain't nothing like the old school where you just shouted out all of the New York rappers. You understand that when you lived here, this is, you know what I'm saying, who you look. So I ain't like that. You understand what I'm saying? And I didn't understand it. I understood him having beef with people who he thought fucked him around, but, you know, why is you taking it further, you know? But still a fan. And, you know, and then Biggie comes out with Juicy. I'm a fan of that because it's got that old, he sampled that old M2 made track. And then I bought his first album. What was it, Born to Die or Ready to Die? Ready to Die with Lil Baby on the cover. And that was a classic album. Juicy. Just the whole, what was that other song? Who was this calling me at 5:46 in the morning, crack of dawn, and now I'm yawning, wipe the coal out my eye to see who's this paging me and why. It's my nigga Pop from the barbershop. Heard he was in the gambling spot and heard the intro clip. I was a fan of Big from the Door. And bought that album. And then, you know, they started dissing each other on the radio in songs. You know, Big put out Who Shot You? Then Pac put out Hit 'Em Up, you know, and you know, then Pac started going at all of the rappers from over here. He went at Nas, he went at Jay-Z, he just started Mobb Deep. You know, nobody was off limits from who was in his peer group. He never said anything about none of the older rappers from the past. He never got at like Rakim or Kane or KRS or Shan or LL. He never did that. It was more so the New York dudes that was his peers during his time, which is the 90s. You understand? You know, and it started to get real interesting, you know. And how did I feel? Let me see. I was in Atlanta. I was living in Atlanta. Then I had moved back to Jersey. I was in college in Atlanta. I moved back to Jersey. And I was just watching from the sideline, you know. And then they started doing a lot of articles in, what was it, Vibe magazine had covers. And, you know, it just got, you know, it got different. And it became a whole coast against another coast, you know. And I had been an NWA fan. Eazy-E is my favorite West Coast rapper. Eazy-E. Eazy-E put all of them niggas on. Eazy-E, I know Ice-T was out before Eazy-E. I know the LA Dream Team was out before Eazy-E, the World Wrecking Crew. I had never heard of Toddy T. I'd never heard of, but I had heard of the LA Dream Team, Ice-T, and the World Class Wrecking Crew, which Dr. Dre was a part of that. But they, you know, they weren't really nothing significant in hip hop. Maybe in California, LA they was, but over here they wasn't. But when Eazy-E dropped Easy Does It, that was another album that was like, yo, what is this? And who is this dude? And, you know, so I had already been a fan of Eazy, Ice Cube, NWA. And, you know, so there was, I still had, you know, I was fans of artists that were from California, from LA. And then he done put this, you know what I'm saying? he done put this thing that made it a whole coast against another whole coast. And I'm like, yo, what's up, man? And then you know, I'm sitting, and then they're going back and forth, and I'm rocking with both of them. I didn't get to the point to where I said, yo, I ain't buying none of his stuff, and I'm gonna buy all his stuff, or I'm gonna buy all his stuff. I didn't get to that point. I was enjoying both of them. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and then other rappers got involved, and I don't want to get into other rappers from East Coast got involved, and other rappers from the West Coast got involved. I don't even want to talk about them. I'm just gonna keep it on this right here. And Tupac ends up and then wait, let me get on a bit. So then Biggie is hot, man. He's got, Little Kim. Little Kim puts out an album, which is her first album, which was dope. And so I'm fucking with both of them. You understand? I ain't choosing no sides. I'm fucking with both of them. And Tupac gets killed. He gets shot in Las Vegas. I remember that. Coming across the news, Tupac shot, and they showing the BMW and this and that, and he was in the hospital and shit. And I thought that he was gonna survive it, like he had survived everything else. When he got shot this second time, he didn't die right away. They was like, yo, he's in the hospital. Then the second day came, Tupac still in the hospital. He was still alive the third day. Tupac still in the hospital. So I'm like, man, he gonna live. He gonna make it, because he got shot before he lived, went to jail, came out. So I expected him to live. And then when he died, when they announced that he died, I think it was 7 days later, man. That shit hurt me, man. And they had a memorial for him in Harlem a few days after his death at this church. I think it was on 127th Street. And what is that? 5th? 127th, maybe 7th Avenue. Right up the street from Mosque number 7, Temple number 7. And I went, and it was packed. A lot of people was there. This was in Harlem. It was a memorial for Tupac in Harlem. A couple of days after his death, I went. I was so affected by that, him getting killed. It just affected me, man. It just affected me. And like I say, I was a fan, and I was hurt when he got killed, when he died. And it was like, wow. And then Machiavelli comes out after that, and then Big and Puff, Biggie, he's still doing his thing. And then he gets killed, I think about 6 months later, in California, in Los Angeles. And, now I'm hurt again, and that's what I saw. That's what I saw. Both of them were tremendous artists. I don't think you can compare, people, because who was better, who's best. Tupac had a bigger catalog than Biggie. Tupac had a bigger catalog. He had more albums. Biggie only had 2 albums. We're not going to count that third album after he died. The first one, Ready to Die, and the second double album with Bone Thugs, Jay-Z, I Love the Dough. That album was a classic. I bought that. I got all Big stuff too. Tupac had way more albums than Biggie. Tupac was in movies. Biggie didn't get a chance to do that. So it's not a even comparison to say who was better. But I would have to say Tupac was the more accomplished artist just on his body of work, having been in movies, Poetic Justice, Juice, Above the Rim. Big hadn't done any feature films by that time. And, he had more music out. Both of them were dope MCs. Who was the better MC, in my opinion? I don't know. Because Big put a verse down on the Source Awards beef. Somebody's talking about the Source Awards beef. Yeah. Big put some verses down on Victory, which was on Puffy's album. What was the name of that album Puffy put out after Big died? The Lox was on there. Black Rob was on there. Twister was on there. What's the name of that album, man? But the song is Victory with him, Biggie, Puffy, and Busta Rhymes. And, he says, man, in the commission, you asked for permission to hit him. He don't like me, hit him while wifey was with him. You heard of us, the murder us, most shady, been on the low lately, the feds hate me. Those 2 verses that he put on that one track in terms of wordplay, metaphor, flow, rhyming, and then the continuity of the thought. I perform like Mike. Any night, I perform like Mike. Tyson, Jackson, Jordan, Action, Pack Gun. Yo, those 2 verses, in my opinion, might be the best in hip hop history. Right? Not to say Big is the best. I don't got Big as my number 1 rapper. My number 1 rapper, y'all know, is Melly Mel. Without a doubt. In my opinion. This is my opinion. But those 2 verses that Biggie put down on Victory is better than anything I think I've heard. Melly Mel, Jay-Z, Rakim, Tupac, Nas, whoever you want to pick. But that was, what I'm saying? Is he, he just didn't have enough body of work, and what was so sad when you think about it, because at the time I was young. In 1996, Pac was killed in 96, right? I was 27. I think Tupac is 2 years behind me. I was 27. I was a young man. And Big was 24 when he got killed. These were children, man. These were young people. And it just is sad that could you imagine if Tupac had lived and he was connected with Quincy Jones. He was getting ready to do some deals with Quincy Jones. You know, he could have been a big Hollywood movie studio owner or producer, film director, you know, and you know, Biggie, from what I understand now, had a deal on the table for a whole lot of money to do something else, you know. Could you imagine the possibility of what these guys could have done in the music game had they lived? You know, and they were young. They didn't get a chance, man. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get a chance to realize none of their full potential. You know, they didn't get a chance, man, and that's the tragic part of it, man. You know, that they didn't get a chance. I mean, they probably would have, because look at how a lot of these rappers from their era have done since then. You know, Nas is more on the corporate tip now. He's worth like 100, 200 million from other investments in technology companies, and Jay-Z started the clothing company and the liquor company and this and that. Now he's worth about $1 billion. Puffy's about $1 billion. You know, because they went into other businesses, and these two dudes would have done the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And but Tupac was something special, man. He was truly something special, and he was pro-black. You know, his mother was a Black Panther, and you know, that attracted me to him. His outspokenness. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I was fans of both of them, man. You know what I'm saying? I was fans of both of them, and you know, it was a wild time. It was a different kind of time in hip hop at that time, because you know it made people not like each other for no reason other than just from where you lived geographically. You know, which is I know it happens all the time, but it doesn't. Does that really make sense? Is that really the tribal nature of the human? Could be. But that's my take on that whole situation, man. Yeah, he was an actor too, man. Tupac was an actor. He had it covered. He was a great actor. He was a great actor. Great. His role that he played in Juice, he played Money. Poetic Justice, he was Money. Above the Rim, he was Money. I watched him in what was that movie, Gang Related, with Belushi. He was Money in that. You know, he was just getting started, man. Like I say, he was young. He was only 25. He was a baby. You know, he would have been right up there getting 20 million a movie. Right up there with Will Smith and Tom Cruise and all of them, and he would have been right up there getting that kind of money. You know, but that's my take on it, man. That's, you know, y'all get to hear my perspective of it. That's what it was for me. That's what I saw. And that's how it go, man. What's up with y'all, man? Y'all good? Yo, if you want to do some mentorship with me, man, one-on-one FaceTimes, hit me on my Patreon channel. That link is at the top of the podcast here, top of the live chat. I'm going to post it one more time. Subscribe to my Patreon channel, man. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I put a post up there yesterday, and I put a post up there today. Yep. What's going on, man? Somebody asked me if I heard the new J. Cole album. I never heard J. Cole. I never listened to J. Cole. I haven't listened to J. Cole, man. They say he's good, you know. Teddy K, man, we got 141 Patreon members, man. Listen, if you buy all 3 of my books, man, up front, I'm gonna send you a free t-shirt. You can call me direct at 862-333-6878. Let me put that number in there, 862-6878. If you want to buy all 3 books, don't call me for nothing, man. If you don't want to buy the books, don't call me. If you want to get the books, call me and we'll work it all out. And I'm going to send you a free t-shirt, get your shirt size. I ordered some new volume 3s. I had sold out of them. I got the volume 1s, the volume 2s, Scully hats. I'm thinking about doing some hoodies, man. I'm thinking about it. I got to see. But other than that, man, everything else is good, man. I hope all you guys are doing well. I hope you're living well, treating yourself good. Do the right things for the right reasons. Make today count. I put that video up on my on this page. Make today count, man. Get out here. Turn off your phone. Turn off the music. Allow yourself to hear yourself think. And, get out here and push your life forward. Push your life forward, man. Do what it is that you want to do. Things are looking up. The weather's changing. Don't be influenced by other people. Influence yourself. Gather the information, look at the information, and then come to your own conclusion, man. Listen to the feedback from this one to that one, and from this one and that one. But at the end of the day, man, draw your own conclusion and make your own decision. Your life is your own. Don't give up your right to your life. You know what I'm saying? Be hungry, be aggressive, stay true. Stay true to who you are. Love yourself. And be good to yourself, man. Treat yourself good. Treat yourself good, man. What else going on, y'all? What y'all up to? Let's see what the market's doing now. All right, so the Dow futures are down 3. S&P futures are down 2. Up 2. NASDAQ futures are down 22, and small caps are down 1. I need it down a little more. I need it down. How many traders out there? Anybody trading out there? Anybody trading? What else going on, man? Today's Friday. Sean's got a baseball game tomorrow. I got to do the baseball with him. I'm looking forward to that. He's got practice this afternoon. I love taking my son to practice, man. I love doing stuff with my son, man. I love it. That's the best shit in the world, man. If you got kids, man, if you ever lucky enough to have kids, you blessed, man. A lot of people can't have children, man, for whatever reason. But if you lucky enough to have kids, man. Cesar Enrique, what's up, man? If you lucky enough to have kids, man, that shit is the best in the world, man. They love you no matter what, man. They be loving you for no reason. That's a love unlike any other love, man, in the world. Even your mother's love or your father's love. Nobody love you like your kids, man. You ain't got to do nothing but just be. That's all you got to do. Is just be, and they gonna love you. You just sold all your Bitcoin? Bitcoin got hit today. China, what did I read? That China's cracking down on Bitcoin? China declares all virtual currency transactions illegal, sending crypto prices tumbling. Yeah, man. So China's cracked down on cryptocurrency. So I think, is it down? Handsome to God. I love Tupac. He was a really, really deep and articulate brother, but he got caught up. People that were around said that he was different from the so-called gangster image that he showed. Yeah, he wasn't really that, man. Tupac was a scholar. You know, he was a scholar. If you look at some of his early interviews and documentaries he did when he was in his teens and early 20s, went to art school, you know, read books, encyclopedias and things like that, man. That whole thing, I think, in my opinion, he was trying to be accepted by people he shouldn't have been trying to be accepted by. And he had no business getting involved in that situation, man. Lucky Marino says, buy the dip. What's my view of the market? I don't know, man. This market don't make any sense. You can't. How do you make sense of this? How do you make sense of this? You know, the world is pretty much shut down still. You know, the economy isn't, you know, what they're saying it is. At least I don't think so. Because how can it be when a lot of the world is still shut down? I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know what the market is going to do. I just trade whatever's in front of you. Look at the price action. What does the price action say? Follow the line of least resistance. Life's been good. Every day that we have breath is a good day, especially in the way of life that we have in the U.S. Hope that don't change no time soon. Yeah, the United States is the best house on the block. I don't care what you say, no matter what kind of issues that go on here. You know, this is still the best house on the block. You got the best chance of making your life something here than you do anywhere else. That's a fact. That is a factoid. All right, y'all, I'm done. I just wanted to drop this joint. I'll see y'all. I don't know. I may go live tomorrow, Sunday. If I don't, I'll probably see you on Monday. Thank everybody, man, for all the love and support. Subscribe to the channel. If you come by, you just watch, please subscribe. I'm closing in on 2,000 subscribers. How many I got now? How many subscribers I got now, man? Let me see how many subscribers I got now. I'm closing in on 2,000, I know. Let me see. YouTube Studio. 1987, the year I graduated high school. So 13 more subscribers will be at 2 grand. We're growing. And, you know, it's going to take time. I'm patient. I grew the other channel. This one will grow too. I don't worry about it. I just get up every day. I post. And I let it do what it do. All right, y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later, man. Peace. Yeah.